Hi, Rachel.
Yeah.
Hi, Bilson. How you doing today?
Hi, Mindy.
Look what we're wearing.
We are in our juicy jumpsuits.
Juicy.
Today, especially
I'm
for today.
super excited about today because we know that not only was it a cultural phenomenon in sociology terms, but also in fashion terms. So why don't you talk about what we're going to do today?
Well, who better to bring on to talk fashion, especially from the OC. We are joined today by the beautiful stylist and costumer from the OC, Nicole Chavez, named one of the top 10 stylists by Forbes, wife and mother of 3 boys. I'd like to just add that. Quite the accomplishment. And I have been close friends with Nicole, not only professionally, but personally for how many years now? Maybe 18?
Yeah. We're going on we're creeping into the 20s.
Did you guys meet on the show?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Let's start how we all met and how your career started, because you've clearly had a huge success in this profession that you've chosen.
It's so crazy. I mean, I worked on the show for the whole first season, and obviously I met Rachel and Mindy, and I was, the on-set costumer that was getting up in your business and
explain what that is. Like, what is the on-set costumer?
Okay. So on-set costumer is someone that is keeping track of the day-to-day wardrobe. So I'm sure you guys have gone over this, but we don't shoot in order. So a lot of times we do like a scene breakdown, and then we'll go and we'll say, okay, this outfit works, for example, works at the beach. And so whenever we shoot at the beach or that location, I have to remember that's like look 1 or whatever. So I was in charge of keeping track of all the wardrobe, making sure that you guys were in the right clothes on the right day for the right location. And I had my like little notepad and I had my Polaroid camera, and I was on set with you guys, making sure your costumes looked good and just making sure everybody was wearing what they were supposed to be wearing. That was my job.
Continuity.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were very good at it.
Oh my God, Scripty. Have you guys talked to her?
What? No, not yet.
We haven't gotten that far.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I'm flooded with like so many memories of everybody from the show and all the people behind the scenes. So that's crazy. I just thought of her. She was one of my really good friends, because we were always checking, like, did Rachel have her bag in this scene? Because we would obviously shoot out of order. So
yeah, you guys had a lot of responsibilities keeping everything, but I've never seen anyone more organized than Nicole.
Aw,
that's
really?
just like across the board. But yeah, she handles it.
Thank you.
I mean, such a pro. We were in the best hands for sure. I have some funny pictures too.
Oh my God. I brought some.
Oh,
I
you
brought
did?
some
Oh my God, that's awesome.
This is actually from this episode.
This is from the episode we're going over today.
You remember I was always taking Polaroids?
Yes, you were always taking Polaroids. That sailor top will never die.
That's you and I on a break.
That's hysterical.
Laying here. Yeah, and I had my big set bag. Yeah, I have so many good ones.
That's
you bring up a good point. Clearly, and from my research, when in between scenes, you guys were going through magazines and sharing your passion for fashion. And obviously this turned into an incredible success for you and for you both. You've done collabs together. You've done, but I found, because I was reflecting on myself, I love fashion like the next person, but not like you guys. I had a daughter at home. It was, red carpets and such. It always felt like so much more, and it was hard, and it was difficult to balance. Like I had a hard time just putting things on a hanger and getting them put away in my closet. As a mother of 3 and still doing this industry, have you found it difficult to balance that?
I mean, yes, I have, but I think what goes back to what you said, I have such a passion for it, and I love it so much that I can't even picture any other way of being without having that creative outlet. So for me, it drives me every day, especially like during this pandemic. I mean, obviously we weren't doing red carpets. I wasn't dressing for my clients for anything other than Zoom. So I was looking to myself to like get motivated and get creative with my own styling. And so I have to do it on a daily basis or I go like cuckoo.
Yeah. And anyone, should follow Nicole on Instagram because all of her outfits are always pretty awesome and amazing and
Thanks,
super
Rachel.
fun to see the style in action, especially this past year. It's good inspiration.
Thank you.
But, I want to bring up, Nicole, that, we were on the show and you were a costumer, but because of your eye for fashion and your sense of style and everything else, you decided, hey, you know what? I think I want to be a stylist. Like, I want to try this thing, like you had this bigger vision, like this sort of was speaking to you and you came to me with it and you were like, you want to do this? Should we give it a try? And I was like, yeah. And we kind of like started together.
100%. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you and our relationship and having met you, because we were the ones sitting on set, looking through our Vogues and our Harper's Bazaar, and we would rip out like all the same stuff. And it was just one of those things that like, it just seemed so natural and organic. I mean, you needed help for red carpets and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I can help you. And then next thing we know, it was like season 2. And I'm like, I really feel like I want to do my own, I want to try this like full time. And you're like, let's do it. Like we can do it. And then you introduced me to Kristen Bell, maybe like 6 months after that. Yeah. And she was on Veronica Mars at the time. And then it was just over. It was like all of a sudden I had 2 like legit, like people I was styling. I'm like, this is crazy. And then Mindy and I worked together too.
She used to
style you all the time. Oh my God, you have so many of your favorite outfits. I remember that blue lace with like the bow and your pencil skirts.
I remember that.
Oh, I remember that.
That was such a good outfit.
So good. What was the first thing we did together, Nicole? Do you remember? Like styling?
I think it was just one of those like after work parties.
Okay.
That you guys, because you guys remember you used to always get these like last minute, like because Vogue, Hollywood stuff. Like, let's go to the chateau.
And they were always Sundays through Sundays through Thursdays. They're never Friday and Saturday night in Hollywood. So for me, it was always like my daughter, you'd come over with a rack of clothes and we'd have to do a fitting and my daughter, and then you have to do hair and makeup and it could be an 4-hour process. And she's 3 going, where are you going, Mom? I'm like, back to work. I was thinking right before we did this, I was just thinking about the process that, our listeners might not know about. Like on the show, for instance, every week we have to do a wardrobe fitting. And every character, every actor has to do this. And I preferred, because I lived in Sherman Oaks and the show was in Manhattan Beach, I said, guys, set up 3 or 4 hours, whatever it takes. I'll try on anything you've got so I get it done and I don't have to do it. I would end up having 4 to maybe even more episodes set. So I didn't have to do it every week. Whereas the boys probably wanted to come in and out in 20 minutes when they were there. I don't think any show really sets out to be this groundbreaking, what the OC was, music-wise, fashion-wise, culturally. What is your take on the fact that obviously the design, Misha had connections to, say, Chanel, or you guys had connections and things were, I read at one point, I remember that there were Chanel bags and these purses, and I read somewhere that they were trying to say, or that they were fake. And I'm like, that's not what I remember. I remember we got the real deal. And then at one point, Fox, when the show got so popular, Fox didn't allow a lot of the products. They wanted the products to pay. It's called product placement. But do you remember that?
I do remember that. Because I even remember, I don't know if you remember this, Rachel, but I remember going through a magazine and ripping out one of the Chanel dresses. You remember the one that Misha wore for Christmas?
Was it the white strapless?
It was the sequin top and it has kind of like a knot.
When she drinks.
The little and it's like a little short dress. It was a Chanel dress. And I remember ripping it out of the magazine and taking it to her and saying, you should try to pull this dress because this dress would be super cute on Misha.
Wow.
And we ended up getting it. And she wore it in the Christmas episode.
Oh my gosh. I have to look it up. I'm sure.
Yes. It's super cute.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like a woven like linen dress. But yes, I think at that time it was just the beginning of these kind of, I don't want to say partnerships, but I feel like brands were looking for new ways to build their business. And like the OC was such an amazing show because it was all of the youth, it was all the kids, and then all the parent story. It was like 2 storylines. So it kind of, went across all, genre. They were able to kind of touch on everybody. And I think that having you guys like Misha carry the bag was one of those things that it kind of changed how costuming happened. I mean, that happened a lot with Sex and the City, but that's the only other show I can think of that was sort of like on the cutting edge of fashion that way.
Yeah.
Until we got to Gossip Girl, which is, later. But it was like in the moment styling. Like it was really sort of, which is usually not what happens. We usually just shop in the stores. And when you're shopping in the stores, you're already behind the seasons. Mm-hmm. When we do red carpet, I'm ahead. So I'm usually 6 months ahead for red carpet, but we were almost using pieces from the collections right away. And then they were out and on the show before anybody ever got them or they were in stores.
You bring up Sex and the City, and I read that they had nothing. They had a shoestring budget. So Patricia Fields, they literally were just pulling stuff and doing things with just very basic stuff, but already creating their style. And I think a great conversation that we can have here is how much of our personal styles, because I'm watching, the fashion change. Misha clearly had that kind of runway style, and Anna and Summer, everybody had their own thing. How much did you, Rachel, have a say? And I mean, I have my own experience, and I'm curious if you had your...
I think, at that time, well, first of all, I mean, 2003 fashion was...
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It was like such a different time. And I want your take on that era, Nicole. But to answer you, Mindy, I think I just kind of like put things on and was like, okay, I feel like, right, Nicole?
Right.
I was thinking.
Yeah, you were easy. I would say everyone just seemed so excited, at least season 1. I was only really there for season 1. And at that time it was like magic. I mean, we all knew that there was something happening that was really magical. And I think everyone was just really excited to be there and excited about the show. And it just felt new and exciting. So I don't remember getting any pushback from people.
I mean, I should say that the designer was Alexandra Welker, very well-respected designer. For myself, it was interesting. It was definitely a little bit of a journey for me because I grew up in Orange County, and when you see two women walking down the beach, they look like sisters. But sometimes it's the mother and the teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Like the mother wants to dress like the teenager, and there were just a few times that I personally, I hopefully I was nice about it. It depends on your definition of difficult. Not necessarily difficult, but having a voice. Where
there's a big difference.
I remember being put in a red St. John thing, and I just felt too much older. But now I realize they were really trying to make Julie a little bit older. And as the show went on, you can see that my clothes got a little more youthful, jeans and cute tops, and I wasn't always comfortable in the cavalli.
I think our clothes definitely like had an arc, just like our characters. You know what I mean? Like definitely evolved and changed along with our characters and personality and what we were going through.
And I was definitely in the juicy all the time. We watched, we had an episode that I think I had at least 2, there were at least 3 juicy outfits in the beginning, and just in one episode.
Yeah, you did wear a lot of juicy, but you had the butt. You have the butt for it, Mindy.
It's a good thing, I know. When you're like,
it's hard to pull off a juicy tracksuit.
I just read this. That according to Vogue, this was an article written just recently, that Juicy and Von Dutch are even back.
Von Dutch? Yeah. That I have not heard. Have you heard that, Nicole?
Summer's Poochie dress is now.
Well, Poochie, I mean, can we talk about that?
Or the style.
No, but you mean from the pilot episode? From the runway?
Fashion runway show.
Oh my God. Did you see that thing that I sent you on Instagram when that guy that
the penguin walk?
He said it was like you coming out of the quote was like me coming out of quarantine, and it was you on the runway.
Oh yeah.
I think Danny Pellegrino, didn't he?
Yes.
I reposted it. It was hilarious.
It was so funny.
It was so good. Funny. But just like a quick, just you talking about 2003 fashion, and we're talking about some of it coming back. Like, what do you see kind of coming full circle? And
well, first of all, it's 100% coming back. There is a trend right now, like a youth trend. It's called Y2K. So everything that's like the new trend. So everything is going to be what you're seeing now. All those little bags, all the low, those low pants. Misha's pants were and her skirts. Her waistline, I mean, she's got a very long torso. And so it was like, whoa. But yes, those pants. There's very
everything.
low.
I mean, tracksuits are back. What's the one that we have that are the velour ones, but they're kind of like the
Susie
new,
Condi.
Yes, like the new,
Obsessed.
Yes, the new and improved like version of the Juicy. Although Juicy is back as well, and
at Fred Siegel. There's an electric blue one that I just am in love with.
Yes. The tube top, all that, the layering,
with a t-shirt underneath.
Yes, the layering. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of good moments in the episode we're going to go over.
I know. I can't wait.
With all of this like fabulous 2003 fashion.
See, I wish I still had, because we had them in notebooks. And we would have like your look, and then we'd have like which scenes it was like, because we'd have to break down the script every episode and know like what day we're shooting what and everything. So we had you guys were all in binders, and I would take Polaroids, and I would take close-ups of your jewelry. I don't know if you remember that. And I would take close-ups. Like once we took the first shot, I would take a picture of like how it was buttoned up, like where your jewelry was, if you had a purse, if you didn't, so that we could recreate it when we had to. Do
you have a favorite outfit from when you were on the show dressing it?
I mean, I do love that Chanel dress because that was super cool.
Yeah, I guess you said that.
Chris Micah. But you as Wonder Woman, that was in it. That's also Chris Micah. But the links, like, it's funny because I was excited to do this episode. I have the most amount of Polaroids from this episode.
So obviously Nicole's here to talk about episode 16 with us, called The Links. I love that you watched the whole season to prep for this, Nicole.
100%. You know
really?
me. Come on. Do you know me or
yes,
what?
I know. Of course.
I have not watched the show since it aired, probably. I mean, probably not. I don't know why I lived it and watched it in real time. Because remember, we used to watch the episodes on lunch.
Yeah, they would screen it for us.
They would screen it for us at lunch. So we used to watch it then. And I used to cry all the time. And Ben would be like, why are you crying? Like, what is your problem? Why are you always crying? I'm like, because it's just such a good show. It's so amazing. But yeah, no, I was always just so proud of the work. I used to love watching it, lunch. But so rewatching it was a trip. I mean, it brought back so many memories of just like places we were, like random stuff. Like there's a part in this episode when Tate and Peter they're like at some restaurant on a pier or something. And I remember I'm like, oh, that was in Torrance, and it was next to a claim jumper, and I ate the best like popover or something. Like random stuff like that comes to my brain. Like, oh, like that was, you just remember all the locations. Yeah. And
it brings back it's like another lifetime,
many
right?
Good memories.
And just so many memories, everything that was going on then. You even met your husband like through the show. I mean, so many.
At the wrap party.
The first, was it the wrap party of season 1?
Yes.
Oh, this is a good little trivia for your husband's name is
Volchok. He's the real Volchok.
That's right. In the flesh.
Look at what I just found. This is in his
Is that a skateboard?
This is what they used to pass it. Yes, they passed these out in the summer before it aired.
That's a story.
Oh my God.
Kevin has it in his desk. It's like our office key or whatever.
Cute. Can you describe it for us? What we're looking at?
Yeah, sorry. It's a little plastic skateboard, and it says the OC, and it's bright orange. It says Fox Tuesdays this summer. So they were walking around.
Oh my!
It was the promotional thing.
That was
Kevin, by the way, was like, "Don't lose that." I was like, "I'm not going to lose it. I'm going to the guest room."
And that's how Kevin is Adam's
Adam Brody's agent.
Still Adam,
Still to this day, huh? Yeah. And that's how that came together. So many things came out of this show. I mean,
so many great things.
Pretty crazy. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
There's something for everyone to enjoy. With all recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Recipes are easy to follow, especially if you don't consider yourself a cook. It takes the guesswork out of preparing healthy, tasty meals. With my family, it does for sure.
I use the HelloFresh app, which makes it so quick and easy to customize my order. Easily change your delivery day, food preferences, plan size, or skip a week whenever you need. I use this so much. I mean, especially having a kid and trying to keep up with her and keeping up with meal planning. Briar loves the crispy maple mustard chicken. So do I.
Go to HelloFresh.com/OC14 and use code OC14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping.
That's HelloFresh.com/OC14 and use code OC14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. Trust us, you've got to try HelloFresh. There's a reason it's America's #1 meal kit.
I love restaurants. And you know who else does? Grubhub.
They do. And Grubhub knows that a restaurant's reputation matters, and they'll be damned if that reputation suffers because of them.
When you're busy binging the OC, Grubhub can make eating simple so you can focus on more important things.
Like, why were we always just showing up at each other's bedroom doors?
So many of my local favorite restaurants are on here. And when I'm having a craving, sometimes I just don't feel like driving, finding parking, taking the time away from those important things. So I use Grubhub.
Yes, Grubhub makes it so easy for anytime Briar and I want to have pizza night and not leave the house and watch a movie. It has been a lifesaver.
Today, Grubhub's doing a little extra to serve Panera. Get a free delivery perk on your first order from Panera of $15 or more.
Order through the Grubhub app or online. Grubhub, we serve restaurants. Let's get into this episode because there's so much to cover, I feel like. And watching it, I was just like, well, anyway, I'll get there. The synopsis for this episode is Oliver invites the entire crew to his parents' house in Palm Springs. Marissa is still buying into Oliver's stories, but Ryan isn't so convinced. Summer is determined to make this trip as unromantic as possible for Anna and Seth.
Sabotage.
Yes, you did a good job.
I mean,
Yes.
I really did. I was pretty impressed with myself.
You were getting into your groove here. I feel like they started really
Mhm.
writing your character, and it's just, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
I've
get
made
there.
Lots of notes about this one.
Yeah,
About
we
you.
so the episode opens, and the one thing I actually wrote down and took a note of is the vintage Levi jean skirt Marissa's wearing when she opens the
I
door
love.
to Oliver. And I was like, well, that's back.
100%.
You know? And it was so
Mhm.
cute. But yes, Oliver, played by Taylor Handley, which,
Mhm.
you know, I don't like to talk about Oliver.
He
much.
was dressed
Makes me
kind of
very
frumpy, or
Was
is
he?
that cool?
His-
The velvet jacket over a polo shirt, was it? He looked like he was swimming in it, but it was,
So
what?
I think his vibe, and again, this is just me kind of riffing off of what it was, my memories, but I feel like he was supposed to be like this preppy bad boy.
Mhm.
So he always had like an element of prep, like with the polo or the blazer, but then it was disheveled because he obviously has mental issues. So I think it was that her way of describing the character, like you seeing the character, but not really knowing. Like, so the disheveledness was like
Mhm.
the unraveling of him a little bit
Mhm.
without telling too much of the story.
Right, because the clothes are telling stories too. They
Absolutely.
definitely do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, in the opening scene, he brings up the Palm Springs thing and inviting them. But the thing that I take away from this scene is like when Marissa walks away, he hides the picture of Marissa and Ryan behind another picture Oliver does. And you're just like, oh my God, this guy is so creepy. And like, there's definitely something wrong. Like,
Mhm.
there's something wrong here.
Well, I think it was this because the audience is in on what's going on.
Right.
Mhm.
They could have played it without us knowing, but we know that
Mhm.
something's going on.
Right.
And ultimately, the reaction was pretty frustrating when it came to Oliver. But I think he did such a great job because we hated him so much too.
Oh yeah, he was very easy to
Yeah.
hate. Which means that Taylor, the actor, was doing a
Did a great
really
job,
good
yeah.
job. And then we move into the episode, and they're going to go on this golf trip. Ryan's really insecure about it. Sandy's giving him a lesson, and the other note I wrote down here was, there is that fucking leather wristband again on Ryan. I'm like, why? And I talked about this before, Nicole, in an episode a long
Yes.
time ago. This leather wristband that will not die.
I was writing down the different designers that we have, but I had to write Ryan is in Hanes and Levi's, but
Mhm.
boy, did his ass look good in those Levi's.
Oh,
I remember specifically.
Ben had a really, really nice body. He took care of himself. Yes.
We're walking down the hallway to set once, and I'm like,
I never
Mary, you've got
noticed.
a
How
kid.
come I never noticed
and I was
these
like,
things?
I went to
Because you were with Adam.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, but I went. I remember going to the costume department and said, "What jeans are those? I'd like to buy them."
After Ben
It's
wore
cute.
them, I want my ass to look that good. That's fantastic.
I do think there's a really cute moment here that, Adam Brody always brings so much flavor to the scenes.
Oh yeah.
And when he's like, I don't want to play golf. I don't play golf. And he does a little, what exactly do you do besides musicals and punching people? He just delivered it with
Yes.
just so much what
Adam's
irony.
choices. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Do you guys want to talk about how, I just always tripped out on the backyard, how there was a giant swimming pool
Yes.
and pool house
On the
set.
soundstage. Yes, we've talked about
Yes.
it. We've talked about
Okay,
the
good.
pool only being 2 feet deep.
Yeah. And wasn't it cold?
I feel like it was.
I feel like Adam and Ryan were always in it, but you guys never really went in it.
I don't think so.
only for the cat fight. But I do remember that there were, whenever we had some well, I should bring this up. The first season, anybody could be a guest on the set. At some point, they had to kind of put by the end, there was a little bit more of a process to become a guest on the set. But fans would come in and literally go, "Whoa, oh my gosh!"
It was really
Every
cool.
once in a while, I can see that ocean, and the waves were little tiny silver pieces of paper. And in this particular scene, I saw it. Like it was a little too close.
Yeah.
You can see that it was a backdrop. It
Right.
wasn't the ocean, but otherwise, it's pretty stunning set.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're off in Europe in this episode, Mindy, with Caleb.
Mindy, you get a haircut.
Oh yeah, you do.
We can. Let's
You get
see.
a new do. That was the beginning of your new look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Well, yeah. If you want to talk about that scene, so I had kind of those tiger stripes, and Daniel Curé, I'm not sure exactly how he says it. He had this great idea. He showed me a picture of Rene Russo with this new cool bob. And I said, sure, why not? Let's do it. And I remember it was a whole process. And it's the first time I had bright red hair and extensions put on. And extensions are essentially, it's a form of glue. Sorry to say. And it took forever. And then my hair was so bright red that when I finally came back to set, our DP, Jamie Barber, literally was like, holy shit, that's red hair. I've got to change the lighting for everything. And that's why I love this line when Julie and Caleb show up from France. Haley says, Julie, your hair.
Yeah.
And I say, Haley, your hair. And I think there was I loved it. It was fun. It was a great choice. I don't know if I'd do that again, but
it looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my favorite line too from that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. And that really became signature,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's true. But the interesting thing was, all of you ladies out there who've had extensions, it's like taking care of a Ferrari, not a Volkswagen. You need to buff it and wax it and take care of it. And it's expensive. So, so all of us ended up getting extensions, and the show was paying for it. Kelly and Misha. No, you didn't. And then at some point, I'm just throwing out a ballpark, but it's like $5,000 a year for the show to be paying for it. And at one point, the show finally went, yeah, we're not paying for it anymore. So I said, okay. And I took them out. And then it was,
I think the scene in the show where Summer and Marissa are getting ready for Palm Springs. First of all, the outfits.
Yeah.
On both of us. This is like the summer sailor top, which Nicole showed a Polaroid of me in it from this episode. But that top is just everything wrong with the time.
everything was very color coordinated. Misha's top was really cute too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And her top, it had like one of those like belt kind of hooks on the collar, that you like tighten up the off shoulder. Our outfits were definitely on point. And Summer is really plotting her sabotage, which was pretty funny.
Your performance in that scene, that awesome. That to me, it was just, again, it just shows me, it reminds me of you, Rachel.
Really? You know what's so funny? As I keep watching these episodes, I keep seeing my daughter, which is so weird. Not that she's like plotting to like ruin some, geek in school or something, but it was just like, I keep seeing her face and I've never seen it before, but watching the OC, because people sometimes say that, I'm like, oh my God. But anyway.
People say that about CG and myself as well.
Oh yeah. You and
they
CG
can
for
see
sure. 1,000%.
Yeah. Or she because she takes after mom, and I'm kind of an animated person from time to time.
But as you know, we're all kind of gearing up for this Palm Springs trip, and it's a couples trip. And then it's Summer and Luke, who are just like the outsiders, you know, which is going to play out and be pretty funny. But and I know I skipped over the Sandy. Well, we can go back to that. But I walked into the pool house and like Ryan and Marissa are kissing, and I'm just like, oh, this is fucking great. And it's setting up how it's going to go. And then I'm like, where's Seth? And they're like, he's in his room. And of course, he's there with Anna, which Summer
is really cute. I thought it was really cute. This this thing that they picked up on because and they'll use it later when they're, I guess the geriatric part of me, the old Jew that Seth is.
He's like the 70-year-old
that they just love each other in that way.
Really cute, and him and Anna were really cute. Like their whole banter was cute. Anna, very colorful dresser. Nicole, I think,
very much
quirky, kind of punky East Coast version. Or was that her? I mean, was that? I always am curious how much that actress had.
Was it Samira?
Saw was really such a free spirit, and I mean, she loved color. I think Alex did such a good job of like blending your personalities, but also developing your characters. Like it was a nice balance.
Samira Armstrong, we're talking about.
I called her Saw. But yes, no, her outfits were always so fun and layered and colorful and big fun earrings. And
yeah, she was very accessorized.
The pink blush. Well, that's the other thing about
that's so Joni. Joni taught me how to do that same Saw cheek. I remember.
I tried to put some on today.
Our makeup department head on the show. Yeah. She was head of makeup. That's who Joni is. Investing can be complicated, but whether you're a beginner or you've been investing for years, Wealthfront makes it easy. They have the right tools for every portfolio.
Wealthfront can create a portfolio of globally diversified low-cost index funds personalized just for you in minutes. I find investing complicated but valuable, and I do look to professionals for help, so I think this is a great resource.
There are no manual trades, no picking stocks, no watching the stock market every day. They automatically handle all the investing based on preferences you control. I mean, I love this because I have never understood the stock market, and I know it can be good and useful, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's why Wealthfront is so handy.
Wealthfront can even help you lower the taxes you pay as you invest automatically. It's that simple.
Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion of assets, and you can get your first $5,000 managed for free by going to wealthfront.com/OC.
All you need is $500 to get started. To get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/OC.
That's wealthfront.com/OC to start growing your savings. Go to wealthfront.com/OC and get started today. I love shopping, but when there are actual items of clothing you need, it can be stressful.
Yes, and time-consuming, tedious, and expensive. Luckily, Stitch Fix makes it easy to find clothing you love.
You can finally have a stylist working for you. That isn't going to cost you tons of money. Stitch Fix offers clothing hand-selected by expert stylists for your unique size, style, and budget. Every piece is chosen for your fit and your life, and it's the easy solution to finding what makes you look and feel your best.
I really am obsessed with the jeans, pants, and blouses my stylist found for me. The fit was perfect. The quality is always really high, too.
Yeah, I mean, I got this really cute dress. I tried on everything that was sent to me, but I kept my favorites and returned only one item. Returning it was so super simple. They included a prepaid return envelope.
There is no subscription required. Try it once or set up automatic deliveries. You pay just a $20 styling fee for each box, which gets credited to the pieces you keep.
Get started today at stitchfix.com/theOC and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix.
That's stitchfix.com/theOC for 25% off when you keep everything in your fix.
Stitchfix.com/theOC.
Adam used to wear a lot of vintage tees. That was sort of like his
How did that work? Because that's kind of hard because you're supposed to have like duplicates of things, right?
Yeah. Yes. But we would find them in ways where when he wouldn't have to have a duplicate or he could zip it up or something like that. And she was also really good at finding like funny sayings. Like I think it says like, what did it say on it?
Why
on
work?
his shirt? Yeah,
work?
exactly. Why work? So like it ties into the geriatric thing and his whole leisure thing of leisure. She was really good at that stuff.
I also read that in an article recently that Vogue said that Seth is a blueprint of Celine now.
What?
Men's
Celine? Really? And Nicole were both like, Yeah.
I kind of see that though, because his stuff was always a little bit cropped.
Layered. Yeah.
And a little bit like, yes, I could see that.
Cropped. I'm just picturing like a crop top on Adam.
But no, like you remember he used to wear those like kind of like bomber jackets, but they were like a little bit, like things were always a little bit snug on him. Like does that make sense? But he was also very tall and lean. So like he definitely could like pull off that look.
Yeah, for sure.
But it just feels like everybody, I mean, especially for the guys, I almost feel that is very now. All of the graphic tees or wearing a colored shirt under a tee, or I'm talking like I'm an expert but because, but I'm not. No,
you are.
I did some research this week.
Adam used to do like layer tees. He used to wear like 2 t-shirts.
Oh, I think, is it in this episode where he has like a button up under a t-shirt?
Under the 76 t-shirt.
Yeah.
Was that this
she
episode?
used to do that a lot with him.
Yeah. A lot of fun layering.
That was a great coordinated scene when they're leaving for Palm Springs. I loved Anna's rainbow tracksuit jacket. Seth is in Adidas, but it was all blues and oranges and reds, and it was just like, this is really coordinated,
right?
But also, we were looking at the fashion because we're doing this podcast on this episode.
So we're going to Palm Springs, and we're all loading up and everything, and of course, Summer rides with Anna and Seth, and is like shotgun, and she takes shotgun, which I like, and then of course Oliver, the little manipulative shit that he is, gets Marissa to ride with him. And then Ryan and Luke and all of their beers are in the truck.
Right.
I don't remember so much teenage drinking, but I guess there was.
Yeah. I mean, they have a full cooler full of beer and things.
When I tell one Orange County story every podcast we do. I remember being in my friend's white Jeep with a case of California coolers in Newport Beach, getting pulled over by the cops, maybe in like 86. And those are the days where they just said, pour it out, move along.
Right.
So, yeah.
Move along. So when the gang arrives to Palm Springs, Marissa and Oliver are close on the couch. And Ryan and Luke show up, and then the 3 of us show up, Anna, Seth, and myself. But
Ryan's so furious.
Over it at this point. I mean, I was too. I'm watching this and I'm just like, this mother,
Well, wait, do you think, because Seth was kind of he kept saying, what's wrong with Oliver? He's so cool.
Yeah, he's totally just ignorant and naive to it all, I feel like. He's also a little focused on his situation, I think.
Yeah.
But Oliver's showing them their rooms, and he purposely gives Ryan and Marissa the 2 twin beds, and just like everything, it's just adding up. But what I love is Misha, Marissa is in there in her cute outfit. She's like, I'm going to go change. And she changes into like the ultimate golf.
The cutest
outfit.
So cute.
So
outfit.
Cute. Do you remember this? Well, you were watching it, but I just thought she looked so cute in her golf outfit. Cute. But yeah, the tension is rising for sure with Ryan and Oliver at this point. And he's like saying that Marissa like told him, or wait, is that later? Well, that he's telling him that Marissa told Oliver his life story and.
Right. And he's clearly instigating and, just getting in his craw. And I think he's barely maintaining.
Oh, yeah.
And it's totally justified. Haley and Caleb are sitting outside, and then Julie and Kirsten. I actually had a moment where I was like, that's a really pretty picture of Julie and Kirsten sitting out there. And I was like, but what am I wearing? It was some kind of patterned top dress. I don't remember what it was. And I remember thinking there were probably, if Mindy had her choice, I wouldn't be wearing some of these things. So I was introduced to a lot of things that I just would never have worn. But at one point I was like, I'm just going to wear what they think Julie could wear, because it was
you just trusted,
a lot louder, and because I'm probably more bohemian and hippie at heart.
Right.
But Julie was definitely more about the labels and such, but I just didn't understand. I was like, I have no idea what that is that I'm wearing, because a lot of times the camera, we might have a wide shot, but then we get, chest up, or what they call cowboy, if you're lucky, which is, your belt up. So we don't really see the whole outfit.
And you also just flown from Paris in that outfit.
Right.
You were very dressed up.
Very, of course, from Paris.
But I think she's trying to sell that you guys are, super affluent and fancy and you're in first class and,
And again, it really shows in the clothes, the other character.
You have all your jewelry on, all your layered necklaces.
Yeah. I really want to get to the golf course because all of the outfits happening here on the golf course.
Okay. Here.
I think we need to cover.
For the video.
Okay. So everyone who's listening, Mindy is now stripping for us.
I found what's totally in now.
Yeah, what is it, Min? Tell us about
Argyle
it.
sweater.
It's not just a sweater; it's a sweater vest.
Well, sorry, it's an Argyle sweater vest that I found at a vintage store near my home. Isn't that
Which
cute?
is awesome.
Really
it's
cute.
my husband's though.
It's so cute. Which is an ode to Anna's outfit on the golf course. Mm-hmm. She is full on Argyle, right? Nicole, sweater vest, golf pants. She has the hat, I think, right? Doesn't she have like?
Yeah, she's wearing a really cute hat.
Super adorable, but it doesn't feel old. It feels really chic.
Yes, but when you say old, then you look at Seth, and he is Grandpa Golfer of the Year, which is so fitting and awesome. And Summer, in my matching coordinated plaid, white pants, and my headscarf. I'm watching this, and I'm watching us on the golf course, and I remember like we're teeing up or whatever you call it. You had to like hit the golf ball. And
how was that for you?
I remember. Oh, you remember, Mindy?
Yes, it's part of the blooper reel.
I know. I was gonna say. So it took me. I am not even exaggerating. 100 times to actually hit the ball off the tee. I could not hit that golf ball for the life of me. And yes, it wound up on the blooper reel at the end of the season. We were sitting there for like 15 minutes just watching me swing at this golf ball and not be able to.
I think we like ran out of light that night. Because if you look at the scene, it's pretty it's like getting like a little dusk, it's like, the sun is going down.
I could not do it. I don't know. Oh my God. But I also like that scene because I make Seth go get my ball and he actually goes and Anna's like, well, you just lost yours, I was like, oh.
Super funny.
Yes. And then all the chaos ensues with Oliver on the golf course. I mean, so Oliver and Marissa are by the way, the fact that like Marissa's always with Oliver and Ryan's annoyed, but he's not like stopping it or like saying anything. And like Marissa just keeps going off with Oliver. And I'm like, what in real life? Like, I'm just looking at it like,
is it the fact that Ryan he's kind of walking on eggshells, because in Tijuana, she almost killed herself and she's got some issues and he is the savior and his mom had issues.
Right. That's fair. That's a fair point.
And here he's, she's found a kindred spirit in her, they've got similar problems and he's trying not, you try not to be jealous or insecure. But what's interesting is ultimately Oliver is the ultimate gaslighter. We didn't have that term back then.
No.
Where he's turning it around and he makes Ryan feel like he's the crazy one or he's making it up. But it's really being manipulated by Oliver.
Master manipulator.
Which is very, very effective to make you feel like Ryan's probably like,
yeah. What's also interesting in this episode is the music is so much more like harder and like gritty, like, you know what I mean? Like angry sounding and rock music because it's paralleled with Oliver.
I love how Luke and Ryan though, because of what happened to him and now he's got their buddies and they've got each other's backs. And then all of a sudden they go on this golf, race and it's aggressive and Ryan finally stands up and goes, what the hell, man?
Well, when they're in this montage with the golf carts and then basically it looks like they're playing chicken. It's almost like a zoom in on Oliver's face, like a cartoon, like his face is like turning red. It's so evil. It's either like going
so
towards
creepy.
each other. But it is really nice at the end when Ryan and Luke are both like, Luke's like, dude, he wasn't playing around, like they recognize it and they kind of team up. And that's a nice moment with Ryan and Luke as well.
Yeah. And Taylor, he was like, what, man? I thought we were joking. Instantly like makes somebody, he's gaslighting again. But in my research, you guys, I found that they actually made a video game of this.
What?
and that it's a race between two golf carts between Ryan and Oliver, and it was like a weird little, almost like Atari looking thing. Anyway, little trivia for you there.
That's really funny.
Didn't go anywhere.
So, the kids are back at the house later, and maybe my favorite outfit from this episode that I just think is cute now and relevant is when Anna and Seth are in bed and she has her white t-shirt. Oh, what do you have, Nicole? Nicole has the Polaroid of the white t-shirt with the pink satin lingerie over the top.
So
Nicole's
cute.
showing us the picture. It's so cute. Like, it came on the screen. I was like, oh, I want to wear that like right now.
You'd wear it now.
Right.
Yeah. It's totally in fashion right now.
Perfect example of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love, them in bed and they're messing with each other. And of course, Summer comes in, and the whole thing with them in that room is really funny. And how they're bantering, how Anna and Seth are bantering back and forth, and they're talking about like all the references too, like Cabbage Patch Kids and Smurfs and whatever. And then at the end, Summer's just like, well, you guys are, you're banter. You sound like brother and sister. And she like,
oh my
leaves
gosh,
them
total
both.
sabotage.
Yeah, horrified. And I'm like, way to go, Summer. I'm totally rooting for Summer as I'm watching this. I'm like, that's right. Like,
It's so
and by the
cute.
way, and Seth, again, in his grandpa attire, I wrote in my notes while I was watching, I'm like, what teenagers, and for Seth, okay, he's like a grandpa, but Marissa also later, they're both wearing robes. What teenager goes to a weekend in Palm Springs and thinks,
packs a robe?
I'm going to throw my robes in? Like, really, I was just like, okay. That's a detail that was funny. But yeah, Seth and his grandpa clothing was really, really
And his
awesome.
humidifier.
His humidifier.
It's so funny.
Wait, what did someone think that was? Someone was like, is that a... And he's like, no, it's my humidifier. I get allergies. It was like... Anyway.
I know, it was something else. It wasn't like a bread maker. It was something.
I don't know. It was something.
Yeah.
It was something.
In the meantime, we should mention that Sandy and Jimmy get drunk at the lighthouse, and
the lighthouse is
idea
closing,
forms.
right? It's like an iconic
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
John Wayne used to be there. And,
Right. And they have an idea. What is their idea?
to buy the restaurant.
Yeah,
Right.
reboot it.
Right.
Reboot
I
it.
was just,
Make it a
Okay.
family-friendly place.
Oh.
Martinis and meatloaf.
Martinis and meatloaf. Okay, let's see.
Then we're back into Oliver world with Marissa worried because Oliver left.
Right, and he hasn't.
And he's been gone.
He's been gone for hours.
And he drives back to Newport, takes a bunch of pills, but he asks
Does
her
he?
to come back.
Right. He asks
And
her to
Marissa
come.
and Ryan,
They drive
go ahead.
back. Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they drive back.
He's
And
really.
then
He's really onto something here. Again,
Mhm.
I know I'm jumping a little ahead, but they get there, and what is Oliver in? A robe and slippers. I mean, the robe theme throughout this whole episode is pretty on
That's
point.
very Hugh Hefner in that moment.
But he's such a little shit, Oliver. He says this, and then there's like the thing where he's, the song's playing and he's pouring out all
Tom
the pills.
Jones.
Yeah, it's like not unusual, right? Is that what's called?
Isn't he drinking like
By anyone.
whiskey or something?
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, he's like drinking, and he's got all these pill bottles.
It's kind of like a super warped Ferris Bueller, right? Da-da. He's having fun and
Right, like a Ferris
manipulating
Bueller montage.
his,
Yeah.
his day off. But that's great editing and story choice in the way that the show's put together. I love that.
You see in the Palm Springs kitchen between Ryan and Oliver before Oliver leaves,
right.
where he freaks out and he's like hitting himself so hard, and you're like,
Mhm.
dude,
That's scary.
yeah, this guy got to go. Like he needs help.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which almost was probably real, though. I don't think there's sometimes you're like, he's clearly acting, he's clearly manipulating, but he probably doesn't know. He probably acts like that. I don't know what's real and what's not in his head is we'll never know.
Okay, anyway, so yes, Marissa and Ryan, they check on Oliver, and he's, Ryan's totally onto this guy, and Marissa's like, won't leave, she wants to make sure that he's okay. And Ryan leaves, and you're just like, oh, it's unfolding, and it's just so unsettling and uncomforting. But so that happens, and then the rest of the gang arrives home from Palm Springs. I love how Summer alerts that they have arrived by honking the horn as loud as possible to wake up Anna and Seth, who are cuddled up in the back seat. But the funniest thing is between Luke and Summer
Awesome.
at the end of this. And he's like, you're looking really hot now, Summer, you know? And they have like a moment. It's like a stare off, like, is it going to happen? Whatever. And then it's like all of it. Summer's like, oh my God, ew. Like, no way.
But you're so cute. You take the compliment. You're like, oh, yeah, thanks. And then this little, pause and, oh my God, ew.
Yeah.
No way.
But the
delivery
thing,
was so good.
Oh, thanks. The funniest thing, I'm watching this and I don't know. I couldn't remember if we wind up hooking up or not. And I'm watching it and I'm like, are Summer and Luke about to hook up? Like, I had no recollection of it or whatever. So I was literally watching it like anyone else, just watching the show. But yeah, I thought that was a really funny moment. But yeah, that kind of like sums up the episode. The fashion choices. I don't know if there's anything else, Nicole, that we missed that you wanted to point out. The golf, sequence, I think, was particularly special.
Yeah.
But
that was really cool.
We do have some quiz questions for you if you're ready for them.
Yeah. Throw them at me.
Where is Jimmy thinking he's going to move away from Newport to?
Arizona.
Yeah, that works. Do you know specifically this?
Scottsdale?
Mm-hmm. Say another one.
Phoenix?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
I think I know it's AZ. Okay.
You asked the next one, Mindy.
Where is Oliver's Palm Spring house actually located?
Pasadena.
Yes.
There's one last trivia for you here. What did Sandy always want to be? Did they talk about this in this episode? They must have.
I think when they were drinking, growing up, what did he want to be?
Is it something to do with the restaurant?
Jimmy wanted to be a pilot because he liked the stewardesses. Sandy wanted to be...
Like the flight attendants, Melinda.
Oh, sorry. The flight attendants. But I was quoting him.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't remember that.
Left field.
I
of
do
the New York
remember.
Yankees was the answer.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You do remember what?
I do remember his ombre sunglasses, though.
Really?
Can you explain what ombre is for people who might...
like the faded glass.
Yes, it fades.
So it was like
color
two-tone.
fades.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have one more question for you. If the show was happening today in 2021, what would you dress Summer and Julie in for a night of quarantine or a podcast?
You mean you guys right now?
Yeah.
Or is your character? What would I dress you guys in for a podcast?
Summer
and Julie.
Okay. I feel like Summer would be wearing bubblegum pink. Because that's like that's the color right now. Everyone's wearing bubblegum pink.
Okay.
Everyone's coming out of quarantine, so they want to wear color. And then I feel like Julie might also be wanting to be on trend. And
she was very trendy.
Yes, she was very trendy. And so she might also be wearing a bold color. I remember, she used to wear a lot, I feel like puff sleeves and rough.
Oh my gosh. So yes, Nanette Lepore.
Yes.
There was one thing that I thought was kind of weird was that big furred collar, that
Suit?
sweater.
Oh,
yes. A sweater when I was doing designing or something. But I think it might be a juicy tracksuit in the bright pink, right?
It could be a Susie Condi. You guys could be rocking your terry cloth.
Not the Kim Kardashian one.
An updated version. High waist.
High waist.
Oh, that is true because I wore one juicy outfit that was literally like on my hips. It was black and the belly button showing. And yeah, these are a little higher waisted. I've noticed. Yeah.
Might be a little higher waisted now.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm down for the bubble gum for summer.
Yes. You wore that color a lot.
Yeah, I'm
back
sure.
in the day.
I mean, it was so colorful. That whole time was very colorful.
You are.
That's a great way to describe the characters. Colorful.
Yeah, colorful.
I think everybody was quite colorful.
Yes.
Well, Kirsten wasn't really. She was always very pretty muted
classic.
and a lot of like light, like neutral tones. She was always kind of very understated, but very elegant.
She was Ralph Lauren, Michael Kors, Jill Sander, Philip Lim, kind of. Those were
Ralph Lauren's probably very.
And Misha, Misha wore color, but not like you did, Summer. Like Misha to me was the most
runway.
Yeah, like kind of buttoned, like you.
She was like more prep, like more conservative,
polished. It was very
polished.
It was polished, conservative. It was very little hints of preppy in there. But it was always more like a very coordinated, put together look. Like it was very done.
I have this one. I have this one continuity photo, Nicole, that you made into a birthday card for me. I have the biggest scarf I've ever seen in my life. It's orange, brown, and cream. And I have it around my neck and it like hangs down to the floor, and I have a bright orange shirt and these pants. I mean, I did find it recently. I should have it now, but, and you made it into a birthday card because you and I were dying over this scarf. We were just like, what? What?
And it was your outfit that you
wore
had to wear?
It was my outfit in the scene. Yes, it was basically the scarf was in the scene and I was just there supporting it. It was like a
Harry Potter scarf on steroids.
It was really funny, but I have to find the picture. But yeah, so many amazing memories. We had so much fun on set. I mean, laughing, offset, hanging out together, watching it and talking to you about it, Nicole. It brings up so many memories. I mean, what a time. And that we've really grown up together, especially fashion wise and everything else, and exploring and experimenting. And it's just been awesome. And I'm so happy you came on to talk to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And you're like, would you do it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course.
Yeah.
Well, and also congratulations on all your success and being a mommy to 3.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, what?
I do have one thing I want to just say before I leave.
Yes.
You guys were talking about like funny stories of like people like from set. And Rachel, do you remember when Adam for Christmas gave me a lint roller?
No.
Because he used to get so annoyed with me. Because
He would get so annoyed. Like if you came at him with the lint roller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that was my job. I mean, I had a lot of other jobs, but my main job was they'd say like last look, and I'd have to come in and just like quickly delint or take any little hairs or whatever. And he'd be like, you need to cool it with the lint roller. Okay. Like I'm fine. Just don't touch me with that lint roller.
Yeah. He would like make a game and a joke out of it. He'd be like,
He made it such a big deal with the lint roller. And so I got that for Christmas.
That is hilarious. That is a great story. Thank you for sharing that.
That's awesome.
And
I wish I still had the note.
Not the lint roller, but the note.
No.
God.
All right, Nicole. Well, I love you.
Right.
Thank you.
Love you, Nicole.
So much
love
fun.
you guys.
So, Mindy, are you ready to hear some fan question voicemails?
Absolutely.
Well, let's listen.
Hi, I wanted to thank you for your contributions to TV when I was a kid. Growing up with you guys on the OC really brings back a lot of nostalgia for me, even as an adult. You and Misha Barton really got me through some really difficult times. So I want to say thank you to begin with. Second to that, the question that I would have for you guys is, what was the best part about being on the OC for you personally?
Wow. Well, thank you. I mean, for saying all that. That was a really nice message. For me, just the whole experience, it started everything for me in my career. And, even personally, I feel like I grew up a lot on this show. And I was surrounded by such amazing people, Mindy, obviously, and everyone else. And we were such a nice support group that really helped kind of the transition into adulthood for me and this new path. So for me, it's all about just the right people and being around the right people and looking up to people and learning from them and just being grateful for all of that.
Yeah. Thank you for your message. And that is so rewarding to hear that we could put a smile on people's faces during a time. And that's ultimately what we're here to do, is entertain. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because it's so beloved. For myself, it was the perfect job at the perfect time in my life. I've done a few series at that time. And I remember I've had to leave town, or I traveled by that age. When I started the OC, I did so many things all over the world. And this particular one was 20 minutes from my home. So it was great to be able to go to work, come home to my daughter. And it was the first time that I got to do something that was comedy or dramedy. And I just grew so much, and I learned to take risks, and became a better actor. And I got to be, I go to work almost, it was fun to go to work. And then I get to come home and play with a 3-year-old. And as you can tell from all of our conversations here on this podcast, we had a blast. I always had so much fun. I mean, there were times I had to go to work at 3 a.m. to do a wardrobe fitting or sit in traffic. And, admittedly, those aren't the best times, but nobody's perfect. But I have such fun memories because it was so well written, and the character was so much fun. And I knew I was putting smiles on people's face. So that's rewarding. That's good. Yeah.
I've always wondered how Marissa and Summer remained friends after Summer just left her drunk and passed out in front of her house. It was always a weird thing to have happened, and it was never addressed. And it was as if, nothing ever, that wasn't a horrible thing to do. So I have always wondered why the writers never chose to explore that, something that prevented them from staying friends.
So how did they stay friends when Summer just dumped her on her doorstep, wasted and passed out? I mean, that's a great question. I think that, they were teenagers, and obviously Summer had probably had her fair share of drinks that night. And I can't say that when you're a teenager, you always make the most responsible decisions. But I think, it's like one of those things. They clearly grew up together, friends their whole life. It was a drunken teenage night. I don't recommend it. I don't support it as a mother now. Always be considerate and responsible with your friends. Something I would never do personally. But to be honest, Marissa probably never even knew it happened. Actually, she definitely didn't know what happened because she was already passed out. So I think that's really the answer. She was
probably already embarrassed and kind of,
she was passed out. She didn't know what happened. And then Ryan brings her into the pool house, right? In that scene.
But
so anyway,
I think
so she didn't know what happened. So that's why they remained friends, because she had no recollection of it. That is the honest answer.
I think at that age too, people do things like you said when they're drunk, and that was last week. Let's move on.
So this was so fun going over this episode, Mindy.
So much fun.
I could talk about the outfits like every episode all day long, and I probably will to some extent.
Let's point them out. I mean, they're pretty epic. As we were talking, I started remembering some of the things in the later, episodes. But we have a lot of episodes to come up to talk about.
We do.
So, yeah.
But thanks everybody for listening. We are just having so much fun talking about all this. Follow, rate, and review. Welcome to the OC, bitches. Wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you like to watch us, check us out on YouTube. And
thank you all for listening and joining us. And we've got a lot more to come. A lot more to talk about.
Also, if you watch us, you can see some of the things we were talking about this episode. The Polaroids Nicole was sharing with us, really fun memories and throwbacks from the past. So definitely check us out on YouTube.
And my epic outfit.
Also the striptease that happened to reveal the outfit, you can see on YouTube. So yeah, give us a little watch. It's pretty entertaining.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to start with the pilot episode and catch all of our episode recaps.